Hi YouTube. Today we're going to be looking at a lever action rifle, and what we have here in front of you is a Marlin 39A. And before we go any further with you, I can show you. You open this breech, there's nothing in it, nobody can get hurt, there's no danger to anybody, you're safe through the camera, nobody can get shot. So a little bit of history about the Marlin 39A. And Marlin 39A is the longest running shouldered firearm ever produced. It was produced between the years of 1921 and I believe they stopped production in 2007. I'm not really sure about that, but that seems to stick in my mind, the year 2007. Now, the Marlin, this is one of the finest 22 rifles ever made. It's one of the most successful ones ever made. It's appeared in multiple movies, everything, and it's just one of the best 22 rifles ever made. Now, one of the signature things about Marlin is they always have this little white dot underneath on the stock, and that's how you always tell it's a Marlin. I think it's for like a sling attachment or something like that, but that's how you always tell you're getting a Marlin. Now this is an older one, so if the newer ones, they started putting a gold trigger in here and they called that the golden 39A. This is before they started doing all that. This is just called the Marlin 39A. Now the Marlin in this design was actually designed in the late 1800s, like 1890 something, and they called it a model 1891 or something like that. And in 1921 they came out with the Marlin 39A. They made a few changes. I'm not aware of everything that it is, but that's when they came out with the actual Marlin 39A. Now it's actually the same rifle, so it's actually been produced since the late 1800s. Now Ruger has always made the argument that their 1022 is the most successful 22 rifles ever made, and I have one of those. I did a video on it and I said I would follow up and tell you there's another one that would give it a run for its money. Well, this is the one, and this is one of my favorite rifles that I have. This thing's got a lot of sentimental value to me. It is an older one, and I would never get rid of this rifle for anything. Now these rifles have what they call the takedown feature on them. So basically what you do, you have this little thumb screw right here that you just loosen up and you hit the rifle and it breaks apart into two pieces. I'm not going to do it on camera. It would probably become a disaster. But this is when they really made stuff nice. It's got really nice walnut stock and handguard on it here. I call it a handguard, little place where you hold your hand. It doesn't have the real shiny bluing or anything like that, like any of the modern ones. Now Marlin went out of business, and as far as I know, Ruger has bought the rights to the Marlin 39A, but to my knowledge, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, they still never produced any of the Marlin 39A since they bought all the rights. I think they're remaking the 336s and 3030s, stuff like that, but they still haven't produced it. But basically this is just a tube fed magazine, and it holds 20 something rounds. I can't remember exactly how many, but it holds over 20 rounds. It'll shoot 22 shorts, longs, and long rifles, and this thing is very accurate. All I use is iron sights on it, and I can be surgical with this thing when I want to be. But it is one of my favorite firearms that I have. I know I say that about all of them, but this one's, I had one of these when I was a kid, and I had to end up selling it to fix transmission to my car. And I said if I ever got in a financial situation where I could get another one, I was going to do that, and the right time came along, and this one here was actually hanging in a museum, like a horse carriage museum, and that's where I bought it from. They had a sale there, and I went up there and looked at a bunch of firearms, and I ended up with this one, and I couldn't be happier to have it. I've had this one for a long time now, and I never plan on selling it. But yeah, the later years, they had a gold trigger on them right here, and they called it the golden 39A. And one of the people that made this rifle famous was Oakley. This is the rifle that she used to use in all her competitions and her exhibitions and all that. She used the Marlin 39A. I believe in her earlier years she actually used one, the model 1890 somethings, which is the same rifle before they called it the Marlin 39A, but this is the rifle that Annie Oakley made famous. But anyway, if you have any questions on it or anything, feel free to ask. I'm not an absolute expert on it, but I do love it and I like everything about it. It's in really good shape to be made in the 40s. It's just I couldn't be happier on it. But go ahead and leave comments down, tell me what you think about it. If there's something you like, dislike, I'll take anything. But anyway, folks, thank you for looking at my Marlin 39A, and you folks have a great day.